much for coming out. We're going to start off with a song before we start our speakers. So me and Sarah are going to lead it. We'll do it once for y'all. If you know it, go ahead and sing with us. If not, join in when we signal, okay? Ready?
Yeah.
Woke up this morning with my mind set on striking. Woke up this morning with my mind set on striking. Woke up this morning with my mind set on striking. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All right, you got it?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Ready?
You got it. You got it.
Woke up this morning with my mind set on striking. Woke up this morning with my mind set on striking. Woke up this morning with my mind set on striking. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All right, this time we're going to go justice, all right? Instead of striking. Woke up this morning with my mind set on justice. Woke up this morning with my mind set on justice. Woke up this morning with my mind set on justice. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Woo!
Thank you.
Should I start doing the thing? Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Sarah Hart. I'm really nervous, so I have my phone with me. So more or less, we're all here for the same reasons. We're tired of the lack of action our elected officials are taking concerning climate change. They're not treating it as the issue it is, a crisis. So 17 weeks ago, Leandra Mira, this is exactly what Leandra wanted to fight. She's been sitting outside the city-county building every Friday from 12 to 4, striking. She's obviously been such an inspiration to me and all of Pittsburgh, and she set up this whole, her and a lot of other people set up this whole strike today, and we're so excited that you guys are here. So here's Leandra.
So I waited until last night to even think about what I was going to say today because I hate public speaking, and for some reason I thought that if I waited until last night, it would just go away. So on Tuesday, I asked my dad, who's standing over there with his Android held up, what should I say? And he said, just tell them why you're striking. And then I asked my mom, what should I say? And she said, speak from the heart. So I'm going to do those two things today. And if this speech ends up terrible, we're going to blame it on my parents. So I've lived here for 10 years. But it wasn't until last May that I found out that the air in Allegheny County is toxic. It's so toxic that just living here, I'm more likely to get cancer than people living in other parts of the U.S. I wanted to learn more, so I started researching, and I learned about how kids in Clariton get vicious asthma attacks when they go outside because of the U.S. Steel Coke plant. I learned about how kids in Washington are getting rare cases of cancer because of the fracking in their community. And then I learned something even worse. I learned that our politicians in Pennsylvania have no plans of addressing this public health crisis. What they plan on doing is turning Western PA into a hub for plastic production. So that night, I was crying, just angry crying when I found all of this out. But that crying turned to striking, and that same week, I sat on these steps for the first time. I strike because communities in Western PA are screaming and shouting for help but being ignored. I strike because those communities aren't white enough or rich enough for our politicians to care about them. And I strike because someone needed to stand up for them, and I wanted to do that. Sorry, there's a baby crying. I wanted to check up on her. The climate crisis is why we're here. It's a big, vast issue. And reading about it gives me anxiety, probably all of you anxiety. And there's so many different solutions. But the one thing I've learned over this summer of striking is that the best solution for this crisis is looking into our own communities and solving the local environmental issues. Solving the public health crisis in Western PA means reducing emissions. And solving the climate crisis means reducing emissions. So scientists are telling us that we need to stop fossil fuel extraction, then fossil fuel extraction needs to stop. The climate crisis wasn't why I started striking, believe it or not. It was because of all of you here today, and it was because of the amazing speakers that are going to be coming after me. I've been striking for 17 weeks. I'm going to strike for 17 weeks after that, and 17 weeks after that. I'm going to strike until Pennsylvania declares a climate emergency. I'm going to strike until Pennsylvania takes action to reduce fossil fuel emissions and makes a plan to be run on 100% renewables by 2030. And I'm going to strike until I live in a Pittsburgh where families don't have to worry about lead in their water and carcinogens in their air. And lastly, I'm going to strike until I live in a world where lives, human lives, are worth more than the profit of few. And I hope that today you guys get motivated to strike for 17 more Fridays right here with me too. Thank you so much for coming out. This is going to be an amazing day, and it's because of all of you that change is going to happen, so thank you. Wait, who's going?
Okay, who's first?
You got this, baby K.
Or do you want to introduce him? Do you want me to introduce him, or do you want to
This is my 5-year-old, Malachi Brown. When he first learned about plastic and turtles and birds and fish, he became vegan. Along with his brother, along with his mother. And then he began to learn more about how it hurts our planet and hurts our people. And he said, "Mommy, we have to change." And so he wanted us to write a speech. He homeschools, and for school he's been learning about recycling and wondering why schools and libraries, why apartment buildings don't all recycle. And then he took it one further. He wanted to understand globally why other people do it so much better than we do. And so he wrote a little something.
Come on, Malachi.
You can do this, baby. You ready?
Clap for him, you guys.
Go ahead, say it. Look, say good afternoon. Go ahead, honey.
There's no one there
Good afternoon. His name is Malachi Brown. He said, I love Jesus, I love people, I love animals, and I stand for environmental peace. It bothers me that we don't recycle like we should. In Germany, people don't get their trash picked up if there's plastic or cardboard in their trash. We need to do that. 65% of Germany's trash gets recycled. While only how much of ours?
35.
35%. Libraries, schools should recycle. We all should. Right? Yeah. What else bothers you?
That we don't recycle.
Yeah, why?
Because 25 of the things Americans try to recycle aren't recyclable.
Right. 25% of the things Americans try to recycle aren't recyclable because we don't know how to recycle. And so what happens? We can't have liquid in our bottles, can we? No. What else?
Or food still in our containers.
Right.
And because we don't know, we mess up 30% of the recycling.
Exactly. That's really sad. What else bothers you?
The amount of trash we make and how much ends up in landfills. We create 5 pounds of trash a day, and we can be using reusable bags and containers, and more than half our trash ends up in landfills, while in Sweden, 1% does.
Exactly. So over half of our trash ends up in landfills, but in Sweden, only 1%. Good grab. And so,
They burn trash and create energy from it, while we rank number 1 in energy waste worldwide.
right.
This all hurts animals and people. The sea turtle swallows plastic bags, thinking they're jellyfish, and die. The mommy bird gives plastic to their babies accidentally, and they both die. Whales, fish, and all of these beautiful creatures are dying from our litter. and for those that eat fish, they are getting sick from the plastic too. By 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. We can make a difference in.
What do you want?
I want clean air and clean water and clean soil.
What else? Last 2, baby.
I want the turtles and birds and fish to live. I'm learning and hoping that others will learn with me. I hope we all use less trash and recycle. Thank you.
Good job, baby. Mommy, wow. You can step down, baby.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a beautiful day today. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I skipped my bio exam so I could be here right now. Because if we're being honest, a degree doesn't matter if the world is on fire. So you guys are probably all wondering who I am. My name is Maria Isabel Villegas. I'm a freshman at the University of Pittsburgh, and I hail from St. Thomas. Yeah! And I hail from St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Whew. I can't properly express just how grateful I am to have the privilege to speak to you all and to be able to represent my islands, my people on a national stage. Today, I'm going to tell you all a story. However, it's up to you to decide who's going to be the hero and how it's going to end. 2 years ago, in this month, September, the islands of Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands were devastated by 2 Category 5 hurricanes, Irma and Maria. I want to quickly interject something really important here that I want you all to remember. These territories, my people, were not allowed to vote in presidential elections. Let me repeat that one more time. These U.S. territories, home to a total population of millions of U.S. American citizens, don't have the right to vote to this very day. I have to register as a resident of Pennsylvania to be able to vote. That's crazy. So, I mean, it pisses you off, doesn't it? Imagine how we feel. We're still treated as colonies containing second-hand citizens. So when we were most in need of the government that we didn't even choose, guess who wasn't there? They turned our backs on us and left us for dead. These storms took everything. They killed thousands, broke families, they tore us down to our very bones. We lived for months without knowing the next time our basic human needs would be met, when we would have access to clean water, food, and so on. There are times when I genuinely question whether or not I was going to make it. If this had happened anywhere in the continental US, people would be freaking out. Unfortunately, the only time anyone in the White House cares about us is when they want to lounge on a sunny beach with a rum punch in their hand. We were mocked by the president, the man whose main job is to protect every U.S. citizen regardless of race, gender, and religion. He had the audacity to laugh in our faces. People who had just lost friends, family, and their homes. People had been through more than Trump could ever even imagine. But against all odds, we survived. We overcame. How? We relied upon each other. We banded together as a community and stepped up when our leaders refused to. Does that sound familiar? The solution to this climate crisis lies within each and every one of us. Every single one of you right here, right now. People tend to think of climate change as this quick, catastrophic event occurring ages from now. I'm standing here today, a survivor of the climate crisis, telling you that I have seen the apocalypse with my own 2 eyes, and it is happening as we speak. Those 2 Category 5 hurricanes were no coincidence, but instead a taste of what is to come if we don't make a change right now. Just the other day, my parents called me and told me that one of the first ever extreme heat warnings had been issued for St. Thomas, for temperatures reaching over 102 degrees. For reference, the normal temperature there is 70 to 80 degrees. That's a 20 to 30 degree difference. We still have time, but not much. This is when you decide who the hero will be, how you want to finish this story. I'm calling on all of you today to dig deep and find the courage to stand up for our future. Enact the change you want to see. If I, a little brown girl from a tiny island in the Caribbean, can do it standing in front of you all today, each of you definitely can. I believe in you. The revolution starts now. Let's get to striking. Thank you.
What we fight for is what we stand on. Pittsburgh, we've done it again, and students, we've done it again. The youth, we've done it again and again and again. We've shut these streets down and we've brought the fight for climate all the way to these steps. We shut it down when 45 was elected. We shut it down for Antoine Rose II. By the way, it's still justice for Antoine Rose II. We'll never forget about him and his legacy. But Pittsburgh, we are here today taking a stand against these fossil fuel corporations and these big oil companies and these politicians who have been bought out by those industries. We're here to say it's enough. You're killing us. You're holding our futures hostage by continuing to put your profit over the planet. This is exactly what we need to fight the climate crisis, a mass mobilization of people who are unafraid to fight back. And you know what, Pittsburgh? Not only do we need a people-powered movement, we need a people-powered planet to live on. I'm Paul Kim. I'm a senior at Alderdice, and I've had the honor and the privilege to work alongside Leandra Mira. Now, I look at Leandra, and I see what she does and what she says and who she is, and it's all who I wish I were and who I wish we all were, because she's been here for the last 17 weeks, striking every single Friday. Now, I have to introduce you guys to someone very special. His name is Benjamin Gucho. He's a junior at Winchester Thurston. And he'll be talking to you guys about the detrimental effects of climate change.
The injustice of climate change, a call for united action. I was especially inspired by the speeches of Leonardo DiCaprio and Prince EA, so I highly recommend to check theirs out. I have been treated unjustly. From my skin to my orientation, I have been treated unjustly. It doesn't matter my name or where I'm from. Like Dr. King said, an injustice to one is an injustice to all. But what happens when there's already an injustice to all? One that causes homelessness, worsening health conditions for marginalized groups, famine, mass migration. Well, we're there. Climate change, a self-inflicted injustice. You see, I'm not concerned that the climate changes. That's natural. I'm concerned at the speed in which it's changing. Each year hitting new records for the hottest or most destructive years in history. Oh, did you not feel that in your air-conditioned office? Do you not see the kids in Beijing and Singapore who have to wear safety masks just to go to school because the air is so polluted? That is unjust. We forget too easily how special Earth is, only realizing as time runs out. We take for granted the astonishing ways something as simple as trees give us air, existence, life. We take for granted everything that is given to us. We decimate them with destructive machines at a disturbing and detrimental rate of 40 football fields every minute. And for what? Individual gain. We put dollars above dignity, greed above need. We annihilate nature's necessity as if it's money from a credit card, accumulating debt after debt, one not paid in money, but rather in the extinction of our children and grandchildren, the animals and life as we know it, stealing our chance to see their unique beauty as a result of our mindset. It is unjust that we call this destruction progress. There was once a time when the native people of this country felt a responsibility for how they left the land for future generations. Today, we don't even think about tomorrow. We think of ourselves today and wait to act tomorrow. Instead, we need to act today to think of tomorrow, to have a tomorrow, because whether you like it or not, we are writing history, either to be praised or vilified for what we do today. Because sadly, we are the last hope for Earth. It is unjust that adults have burdened us kids into making the world understand, to stand up for our future and the future of our children. Do you only care for yourselves? Think of the shame you will carry when your children and grandchildren realize you had the power to stop this devastation, but simply lacked the political will to act. The bedrock principle of the United States is having the ability to solve social, divisional, and economic problems by putting them into our political system. The community, business leaders, and most importantly, the government must act to save Earth from complete injustice. As you know, by the time we'll be your age, there is no more time. Stop building walls. They won't stop the migration from inhabitable lands. Stop spending money on military. They won't stop the wars over water, which I remind you have already started. 36% of the global population lives in water-scarce regions. Even more, by 2030, it will displace as many as 700 million people. It is unjust that you deny the facts and truths, but I hope you realize that you cannot avoid them. I have only lived 17 years, and I've seen the results of rising sea levels. Through the flooded streets of America, the thousands of homes washed away and obliterated. From Bangladesh to the Bahamas. I've seen the recent reoccurring droughts in California that spawn apocalyptic-type fires. I've seen the falling snow rates in my own backyard, and there is no doubt in the scientific community that this is a direct result of human activity. Yet you, adults, still have not acted. Not only is that unjust, but the fact that you let fossil fuel companies manipulate and dictate the science and policies that affect our future, we need to stand united as humans, grandparents, parents, kids, humans that love, care, and nurture. Stop looking for another place to move to. Stop looking for another home. Fix this one. Fix our home. Now is the time to change the climate in our hearts. We are not apart from nature, we are part of nature. Saving nature is saving ourselves, because it won't matter what you are fighting for, because unless we save the environment, we will equally be extinct. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, our unalienable rights. A right to life that is being taken away. A right to liberty that is being limited by our leaders. And a right to happiness being replaced by guilt and anger as time and solutions run out. I call to action all the youth, adults, and especially leaders to act today thinking about tomorrow. Too often, adults and leaders tell me how hopeful they are for my generation, saying that we'll do better, as if they've got no power. I remind you that there are only 11 years left. By the time I can vote, 10. And by the time I can get into a seat of power, much like our political leaders, time has run out. The youth have been tasked to change the impossible. Now, we ask the adults and people in power to listen to us, join us, unite with us, to use your power and influence to stop the injustice of climate change and help us save humanity.
Now, we have a 9-year-old speaking. Her name's Elsie Lay from Trafford Borough, and she'll be talking about the impacts that climate change has on wildlife and the demands for Governor Wolf.
You can step up. I'm just holding this down.
Okay. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Lay, and I think we need to stop climate change. Climate change hurts people and animals. For example, polar bears' homes are melting and they can't find food. And soon we aren't going to be able to find food either if we don't stop climate change. Our Earth is supposed to be getting cooler, not hotter. Another example is the American pika. It can't survive in weather that is 78 degrees or higher. Their homes are getting too hot. But where are they going to go? They live on the top of a mountain. There's nowhere to go. And soon people won't have anywhere to go either. Climate change is getting worse and worse, not better. That's not good. Right now, humans are causing the Earth to heat up. This is happening because of things like factories, cars, fracking, and using fossil fuels. We can stop this, but we aren't. For example, in our town, there's going to be a lot of fracking sites, but now we only have 2. That's because people fought against it, and we can do the same with climate change. The governor needs to do something about this. Our governor, Tom Wolf, isn't doing anything to fix climate change. When we went to Harrisburg to talk about the Green Amendment to the governor, he didn't want to talk to us and pretended he wasn't there. He was, though. When we finally got in, my friend Aiden told him to stop making excuses. The governor and other leaders need to pay attention to what kids are saying. We want a clean and healthy future. Imagine your home getting destroyed and not being able to say or do anything about it. And it's not just animals, it's us kids too. We have good ideas, but some people just don't listen. We have to live here longer than adults, and maybe that's why some people don't care. What I'm saying is we need to fix climate change now, and we only have about 4,000 days to stop it. We need to fix climate change today, not tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, you want to go next? So now we have Aiden Graber. He's 11 years old from Trafford Elementary in Westmoreland County, and he'll be talking about our fight against new oil and gas development in our community.
Do you want to step up? Do you want to step up first?
You can hold it down.
You're good.
I can hold it.
Okay. Here, then just move up here a little bit.
Okay.
4 years ago, I was in first grade learning how to read, and my parents were learning what fracking was and why it was coming into our neighborhood. While I was at school, my mom was taking my sister to preschool and trying to stop the fracking well pad from coming into our neighborhood. Now that I'm older, I understand why she always goes to meetings to teach other people why fracking is so bad. Do you know that they're trying to build 4 frack pads around our neighborhood with over 35 wells surrounding my school my friends go to? Because of adults like my parents fighting, those frack pads are not built today, and I can stand here today and tell you I never want to see them. I'm in 5th grade now, and we learn about natural resources in science class. But what they're not teaching us is why some of these resources are killing our planet and how the kids will have to just deal with it. In January, I traveled to Harrisburg with my mom, sister, and some friends. I met the governor of our state. He didn't want to meet with us, and this guy came out and said we needed an appointment, that he was very busy. But we traveled 4 hours to see him, and he just wanted to ignore us. I spoke up and told this staff that I don't think he wants to hear what we have to say, and that's not right. They let us in to see him, and when I shook his hand, I told him to stop making excuses. We have a right to clean air, water, and a healthy planet. I didn't know until my mom told me a few months ago that because I spoke up, they let us in to see the governor. I learned something very important from this. A 5th grader can say something very important and make a difference. I can tell the adults to stop making excuses and be responsible grown-ups like my parents and take action to stop the extraction. I may be small, but I can have a big impact, and you can too. So when you get home, write a letter to the governor or someone with the power and tell them to stop making excuses, because we have a right to clean air and water. I'm too young to vote, but I'm not too young to understand why plastic is bad for our oceans, why fracking is bad for me, my teachers, my friends, and my school, and why the adults need to do something now so the kids can be in the classroom and not here fighting for our future. So take action to stop the extraction.
No.
Now we're going to have Andrew from UE speak. The UE is the first U.S. industrial union to endorse the Green New Deal and the global climate strike. Let's give it up for Andrew.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. It is with great respect and it's an honor to stand before you all and to have shared the stage with so many young folks here. That is the future. It's the future today. We don't have to wait for where the emerging leaders are coming from. They're standing right here with us. What we have to do within our organizations, whether it's a labor union or a community activist union or in your schools, is to make space, to make room for these voices that are coming forward, and to make sure that they're not squeezed out or structured out of the conversation. Because we're all in this together. We all breathe. We all eat. We all have to live for each other. One for all and all for one. And I have to say, for UE, the United Electrical Radio Machine Workers of America, we stand as the union for everyone. And our goal here is to make sure that there's an organization and there's a movement and a space for everyone to speak up for democracy, to speak up that everybody has a voice and a say in whatever they decide they want to do. And climate action is what we all have to do. We all have a part to play in it, and our union is going to do our part to make sure we keep bringing it before the membership. We keep bringing it in the community, and we keep bringing it at the bargaining table and the state houses. Thank you.
Okay, this is Anais. She's speaking on the behalf of Fossil Free Pitt.
All right, we're gonna start with a chant. Are y'all ready? All right. So when I say, what do we want? Y'all are going to say climate justice, okay? Sound good? All right. What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down. Thank you. It is so good to see each and every one of you here today. I'm so glad that so many people came out for this. So before I begin, I want to start with an acknowledgement of the land we're on and the fact that we are standing on stolen and occupied land of the Seneca and Shawnee people. We must ground our movements in the decolonization of our minds, our bodies, and our actions if we are going to achieve climate justice. So my name is Anais. I'm a senior at Pitt, where I serve as the Executive Vice President of Student Government Board, but more importantly, where I organize with Fossil Free Pitt Coalition. I have been organizing for the past 4 years to have Pitt divest its endowment out of fossil fuels because I believe my university should not be funding off of and profiting off the climate crisis. I know investing in fossil fuels is investing in the destruction and the decreasing quality of air and water. I know investing in fossil fuels is investing in the exploitation of workers. Investing in fossil fuels is investing in the destruction of poor and communities of color. And I know this violence is happening right now, especially in southwestern Pennsylvania. That's why I'm striking. I am not striking for my future, I am striking for my today. The climate crisis is here. And it's been here for decades. We've had environmental racism, environmental classism for decades. This is not about 30 years from now. This is not about my mythical grandchildren. If elected officials and older generations say they care about our future, but they aren't doing the work right now, then they don't care about our future. They don't care about us. The work is here, and people of color have been doing it for decades. It doesn't matter how much you claim to care about our future if you aren't standing with us today and you're not standing with us right now. So I know Mayor Peduto was here earlier. Does anyone know if he's still here? All right, well then we're going to say this and hope you can hear it up on the 5th floor. Mayor Peduto, today you signed and yesterday you tweeted about permission slips for Pittsburgh public school students so they would be able to attend this strike. You say you care about our future, but you're not using your voice to protect us. Right now, we need a leader in the fight against the Stowe ethane cracker plant from our mayor. Your silence says to the region that you believe southwestern Pennsylvania has nothing more to offer than to be a sacrifice zone to the petrochemical industry. We have more to offer, and we the people believe in it. We're waiting for our leaders to stand with us. So be a leader in southwestern Pennsylvania's just transition. Use your position to help us create a regenerative economy where no one has to live in Cancer Alley. So today we are striking, but it is not just about today, it is not just about September 20th. We must refuse to be complicit in an extractive economic system and the fossil fuel economy every single day. Better worlds than this are possible. Let's dream it, let's organize it, let's build it.
So I'm super excited about the next speaker. We have Representative Sarah Nomorato speaking today, right? Okay, come up here. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Nomorato. I'm a state representative. I'm a Pittsburgher, and today I'm a climate striker. First, a couple thank yous. Thank you so much for Leandra and Sarah and all the organizers of this event. Is this an incredible day or what? Thank you for all the school districts who are standing with your students and listening to them. And thank you to every single person who got up here and took the mic, dropped it on the ground. Your stories are powerful, they're amazing, and I'm gonna take them back to me with Harrisburg when I'm making my choices. But to be honest, I never thought I was gonna run for office. I didn't dream of being an elected official, and I didn't run for office to hold a seat or hold a title. I ran because we are in an economic crisis, we are in a healthcare crisis, we are in a climate crisis, and our elected officials are not doing enough. I ran for office because I saw our community suffering. I ran because the rich and powerful will always protect the rich and powerful. And I ran for office because I know that another world is possible. So every day, when I get up and I have this title, this supreme title of state representative, and I go to Harrisburg, there are 2 buttons in front of me, yes and no. So every day I have to ask myself, which side am I on? Am I on the side of kids who are in our region who have twice the rate of asthma than the rest of the United States? Am I on the side of families who can't even drink their own water? Am I standing with people or am I standing with industry? People. And I've had enough.
of elected officials telling us that this is the way it is, that what we want to achieve is not possible. This is always how it's been done, and this is just the way the world works. Enough. But it is only possible if we hold our elected representatives accountable. So, including myself, we have to ask each and every one of them, which side are you on? Are you on the side of bailing out corporations or building up communities? Are you on the side of leaking pipelines and peaking markets? Or do you want to create jobs that will actually fix our world and not poison our environment? Do we want elected officials in office to be comfortable? Or do we want them to fight for economic, social, racial, and environmental justice for every single one of us? We have to look at our elected officials and say, are they marching? Are they in the streets with each and every one of you? Or are they protecting the people who are making the world uninhabitable? This day, standing here, brings me so much hope. And like I said before, another world is possible, another path is possible. Our future, it can be different. We can flip the script. But it's going to take each and every one of us to do that. And you have an ally in me, and I will stand with you to the end. All right, thank you.
So next up, we have Patty DeMarco, who's been working in environmental activism most of her life, and she's a grandmother, so she's going to be giving a speech.
Hello, Pittsburgh! 50 years ago, we stood in the streets right here where you are, and we fought for the Clean Air Act, so you see blue sky today. When people stand together and demand justice and demand action, we can save the world, and we will. I want to do a shout out to the 8th graders of Woodland Hills High School. They went to the school board and demanded that there be a resolution declaring a climate crisis. The 8th graders' letters to the school board were accepted. And the Woodlands Hills School District is the first school district in Pennsylvania to stand for a climate crisis and stand for climate action. We need to recognize that the laws of nature are not negotiable. The processes that have been put in motion, from burning fossil fuels and making plastic and throwing things from raw material to trash as fast as possible, cannot be sustained even one more year. We have a decade to turn it around. This is not a technology problem. We are sitting in the center of some of the most sophisticated technology places in the world, right here in Pittsburgh. We know how to solve this. Renewable energy, regenerative agriculture, green chemistry solutions, and a circular economy. We can do this. We know how. What we need is to marshal the political will and the moral authority to say we will stand up for our children's future first and foremost in making every decision in our boardrooms, in our businesses, in our legislatures, and in our town halls. We are a people under a constitution that gives the power of the people, by the people, and for the people. So I am honored to stand here today with all of these young leaders. They have a tremendous amount of work to do, and they will do it if you all stand with them. So Leandra, you get to say this. Who has the power? Say, who has the power? Who has the power?
Who has the power?
We do.
Who has the power?
We do.
Who has
The power. We do.
All right. Use it wisely and use it well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Leandra, call Mike to sing.
Who?
Call Mike Stout to sing. We're going to close your song. I do. I got it.
This is grassroots activism, you guys. So, Mike Stout. Wait. Mike Stout is here, and he wants to sing a song. Do you want to come up here, Mike? Where is he?
Hello, I'm a grandfather, and I want everybody here to know I'm with an organization called the Isaac Walton League, and we are going to stand with these young people every day, every week, every hour, right here. This is a song that goes out to all these young people. It's called The End of Fossil Fuel Man, one way or another. Rusted heaps abandoned on the streets, remnants of a bygone day. Graveyards of plastic once used for fantastic, scattered all over the place. Drinking water scarce, black and brown outs everywhere. Power shortages, the order of the day. Behind the media veneer, the picture's real clear. The agent printed sorrow is here. It's not the rapture, some prophecy unfurled in the days of the end of the world. It's not the beast unleashed or a curse upon the land. It's the end of fossil fuel man. It's the end of the fossil fuel. Giant empty malls, ghost towns, suburban sprawl next to mountains of garbage and waste. Dust and rust bowls, homeless shiver in the cold. The desert heat reclaims its space. Endless resource wars, tribes live by the sword. Dollar not worth the paper it's on. Dream the fair shares will finally come here when the drillers and the frackers are gone. One day you wake up, right becomes wrong. You realize we cross the Rubicon. There's no master plan, there's unbreakable hand. It's the end of fossil fuel man. It's the end of the fossil fuel man. Now if you stay unconcerned, pretty soon you'll learn ignorance is not a good bluff. The more we consume, the quicker we're doomed. For the addict, enough is never enough. One day a storm will come, all the privilege you won will blow away like empires in song. The matrix will burst from so much hunger and thirst when the cheap gas and oil are gone. Better get to know your neighbors, learn to grow your own food. Get some solar panel for the roof. For the energy dinosaurs, extinction they have. It's the end of fossil fuel man. Oh, it's the end of fossil fuel man. Oh, it's the end of fossil fuel man. It's the end of fossil fuel man. Oh, it's the end of fossil fuel man. Oh, it's the end. It's the end. It's the end. fossil fuel man. Dirty fossil fuel man. Dirty fossil fuel man. Thank you. It's time to shut it down.
You do. Okay, got it. Go.
You want to come up here and do chants? Yeah, we
Got
want
it.
someone to do chants. Come on.
Do you want to tell them that we are marching so nobody like leaves?
Yeah, we're gonna, yes.
Who has the power? We do. Who has the power? We do. Who has the power? We do. Yeah, we do. I don't know another one. What's another one? Okay, I'm gonna.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Rothwell. I'm from Fox Chapel Area School District. I'm currently in the high school, but last year while I was in middle school, I protested for them to stop using plastic and stop single-use plastic. With my project, I went to World Oceans Day at the Pittsburgh Zoo. I'm now working with people over in Hawaii and multiple companies for them to stop using plastic. Our time is now. We have to take the rise. It's time.
All right, are y'all ready to move? Yeah? All right. So the plan is, I want to say first, if you don't feel comfortable moving, you can stay here. There are tables, there are things set up. We don't want to have anyone feel like they have to march. But if you have that energy, we're ready for you. So, we have marshals here. They're in the green armbands. If you get confused where we're going, I'm also going to announce where we're going so everyone knows. So we're going to be going down Grant, taking a left on 6th, going down to, I believe that is Wood, we're going past EQT, because they're not going to be able to get away this day without anyone yelling at them. Then we're going through Market Square, back up Forbes, and ending right here. So if you're with a group and some of y'all march, some of you stay, we'll be reconvening back here at the end. We have a legal observer and a police liaison both wearing the neon safety vests if you have any concerns. And if you have any concerns about the route, look for someone in the green armband. And we'll be starting going that way, and I have the megaphone, so I'll try and yell as best I can. Ready?